Welcome back, beautiful beings. It's really exciting. I get to share another class that's a little different. We had some great feedback about our 16.2 class, which is all about functional movement. So we're going to try and stay in that general kind of direction. Now, yoga has a lot of functional movement in it anyway, and that's why fusing these two things together is such a beautiful match made in heaven. So again, take your time. If you have any limitations, please honor them. Once again, let's move with the body's weight and breath. All right, so we're gonna start in all fours today. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. And then from here, grip down through your fingertips and start to flare your right knee out in line with your right hip. Keep a bend in the knee. From there, start to rotate the leg up towards the sky, and then allow your right knee to land back to your left. Keep it hovering. Slow and steady, lift it up and out, all the way around, sole of your foot towards the sky, and then allow it to hover next to the left. Let's do one more time. Slow and steady, lift it up, all the way around, and then drop it back down. Know if you have any issues with this much pressure on your knees, you can get a pillow, blanket, anything soft, chuck it under there. We'll go to the left side, let the knee lift, move it all the way around, and then back down. Two more like that. Now I can already feel my left side is totally different to my right. Coming into that external rotation, lifting the knee in line with the hip. I'm actually a little limited there, and it's just the head of my femur moving in the hip socket, and that's perfectly normal and okay. So if you felt the same thing, welcome to my little club. We'll just take 3 rounds of cat-cow. As you breathe in, drop the belly, lift the gaze. As you breathe out, round through the spine, push the floor away. And just 2 more like that. A big breath in. Flare your sitting bones up, draw your chest through your shoulders, and breathe out to round. Last one, finding this beautiful articulation through the spine. Take it slow. Good. Come back to that neutral spine. Come up to it, heroes, and a big step forward to the front of your mat. Now today we're going to be moving up and down a lot, from standing to sitting and back. That's a really important in our functional movement, to get up and off of the floor without using our hands. But if you need to use your hands, go for it. All right, we'll get straight into it, guys. Ground down through both of your feet. Feel the toes spread on the earth. And on your next breath in, come to chair pose. We're going to take hands at heart center today. But for a majority of us, when we come into this shape, we're going to flare our sitting bones back and dump into our lumbar spine. Tuck the tailbone down and bring the hip points and the bottom of the ribs closer together. Now, if you notice you take weight into your heels, feel like the quads really fire up, right? But if you take it a little further, you can start to feel it towards the back of the legs. Might be a little different for everyone. And just see where you're carrying your weight. I'm going to ask you guys to shift it into your heels first. We're going to take just one more big breath in and a breath out. Now as you breathe in, start to shift forward and then drop down into a low squat. And I mean a really low squat, because we're going to move onto our sitting bones next. So find out if you can create a shape like this. If you can't, you can come onto your toes with your hands on the earth. That's going to help with the flexion through the ankles and just give you a little bit of extra support. Find what shape works for you, and then from there, let's breathe out. As you breathe in, high boat. High boat can have knees bent, arms out in front, hands behind your knees. Just ensure that your chest is booming forward, crown of head up towards the sky, and we're not rounding into the lower back and allowing the spine to carry our weight. It's our core that's doing the work. Really important that we turn on through the core. So let's take one more big breath in. Use a little bit of momentum as you breathe out. Come back to your low squat. Really tough, right? We want to make sure when we go through that transition, we're not using our hands if we can. If you have to use your hands, go for it. On your next breath in, keep your right foot ground. Lift your left knee all the way up, stork pose. This first one's going to be just a little bit funky, getting used to it. But start to use this hip flexor to lift the knee nice and high. Now, if you want, play around with that. Start to lift the knee up high. See if you can take your hand off and keep it there. That's going to give you a really good indication of how high your knee can actually get. We'll take one more big breath in, enough for you guys to play. As you breathe out, we're going to place our left knee on the earth. You can use your hands to your right thigh. As easy as you can, drop that knee down. Now, for many of us, we're going to find there's going to be a bit of a thud there, right? When we're dropping that knee down, that's a really tough movement. So while you stay, if you need to, feel free to bring your toes down and then your knee. But obviously we're aiming to get the knee on the earth really gently. From here, we're going to open up the hip flexor we're just working. Interlace the fingers, pinky finger towards knee, round the upper spine, take your chin to your chest. Keep drawing your belly button in. We want to round as much as we can through the spine, tuck the tailbone down and forward. Use your hands to get that little bit of extra lift. We'll take one more breath out. As you breathe in, straighten up. Slow and steady, shift the weight forward, ground the foot down, stork pose. Foot to floor, hands to center. All right, we'll move to the other side. Just take a breath. No expectations, no judgment. When you are ready, breathe into chair pose. We are going to land. I want you guys to find a depth that's going to work for you, knowing what position we're moving into next. As long as the belly button in, tailbone tucks under. Let's breathe in one more time. Breathe out. Tiny little squat is what I'm going to call it. Again, find where you need to be, maybe on your toes, maybe your hands on the earth, maybe on your feet, maybe you're grabbing onto your mat, whatever you need to do. From here, let's breathe out. Breathe in, high boat. Now again, we're going to hold this. We want to make sure that as we're turning on through the core, we're building that heat, we're building that fire, so when we're moving through flow, we have this beautiful opportunity to trust the body. It knows what it's doing. Breathe in one more time. Breathe out, tiny little squat. Breathe in, stork pose. Leave the left foot, lift the right knee. Guys, lift it high, play with that height. Want to make sure that we're using the hip flexor as much as we possibly can. Keep lifting up through the hands. Again, you know where we're going. Slow and steady. Make that transition. Right knee drops all the way down to the earth. Use that however you need that transition. If you need to drop the big toe down on the right foot and then lower the knee, go for it. We don't want to create this thump. Breathe in, lengthen the spine. Breathe out, round over. Start to feel that opening, enter the right quad, the right hip flexor. Turn on that right glute to amplify that length even more. We'll take our last breath out. As you breathe in, start to straighten up, shift forward, right knee to the sky. Foot to floor, hands to heart center. So as you can see, a lot of moving up and down all through different heights. Please take your time. We'll move through this in flow. One breath, one movement. Let's breathe out. Chair pose, breathe in. Nice and low, tailbone tucks. Breathe out, drop into your squat, nice and slow. As you breathe in, find high boat. Knees can be bent. As you breathe out, use a little bit of momentum, tiny squat. Right foot stays, lift that left knee all the way up, take a big breath in. Left knee to the earth. Shift the weight forward so you can drop the knee. Straighten up. Inhale. Slow and steady tuck and round as you breathe out. Belly button to spine. A breath in. Slowly shift the weight forward. Lift that left knee up. Foot to floor, hands to heart center. Breathe out. Other side, chair pose. Sit deep. Breathe in. Tiny little squat. Breathe out. Make sure this is slow. High boat. Inhale. Feel the belly. Broaden the collarbones. Tiny little squat to exhale. Left foot stays this time. Right knee rises. Take a big buoyant breath in. Shift the weight over the left foot so it can carry that as you drop that back knee slowly. Breathe out. Good. Straighten up. Breathe in. Round as you exhale. Shift the weight forward over the foot. That's going to help you ground down to lift up. Foot to floor, hand to heart. You know we're going to do it again. Chair pose, sit deep. Oh, inhale. Tiny little squat. Empty the belly so you can find the space. High boat. Your variation. Inhale. Slow and steady, a little bit of momentum, no hands, tiny squat. Right foot down, see if you can lift that left knee up with the body, breathe in. Shifting weight forward, knee to the earth. Breathe out. Inhale to rise, exhale to round. Inhale, shifting forward, lift the knee, ground the right foot. Foot to floor, Samasthita. Exhale. Chair pose, deeper. Tiny little squat, empty. High boat, a whole breath in, don't rush it. Tiny little squat, maybe a little bit of momentum. Left foot to stay, right to rise, breathe in. Shift the body forward, that should help. You can bring your hands to your knee, even if you need. Breathe in to lift up. Breathe out to tuck and round. A breath in, forward and up. A breath out, land. One more time, guys. Just one more time. As you inhale, sit deeper than you have before. As you exhale, drop really slowly into your squat. Breathe in, high boat. Breathe out, see if you can move with a little less momentum now. Right foot to stay, left to rise. Weight forward, left knee down, slowly. Breathe in to straighten up, turn on the belly. Breathe out to round over. Breathe in, you guys know where to go now, rise. Foot to floor, hands to heart. Let's go to the other side. Inhale, chair. Exhale, lower. Big breath in, high boat, belly on. Breathe out, use the core to tuck yourself into that ball. Left foot to stay, right to rise, breathe in. Shift the weight forward, use the whole breath out to drop the knee. You can use your hands if you need. Breathe in to straighten. Exhale, belly to spine. Shift that weight forward first, ground that left foot, right knee rises. Foot to floor, hands to heart. Breathe out. Guys, close down your eyes. Land with your hands at your heart center. Yoga is about being mindful. And can you check in now and ensure there was no judgment that was lingering? There's no expectations that your body should be able to do anything. But then you bring in that mindfulness and realize what it was able to do. And in this moment you feel gratitude, appreciation for this body, and you know you're working on it. So for this next long breath in, and even longer breath out, make that commitment to being mindful the rest of your way. Start to blink open through the eyes. Slowly drop down. Straighten out through your straighten out through your left leg. And then your right foot, bring that to the outer edge of your right hip. Make sure that the heel is on the outer edge. Now, if this is too much for the extension in your ankle or too much pressure for the knee, bring in a block or a pillow underneath your right sitting bone to alleviate some of that weight. From here, really slowly, start to walk your hands back in space. You might move a tiny, tiny bit. Or maybe you can lay all the way down to the earth. No matter where you are on that sliding scale of depth, feel really appreciative for it. As we move through functional movements, sometimes it can be really daunting that getting up and down off of the earth is hard. But that's exactly why we're doing this practice. So we can train the body to move the way it should move. So as best as you can, whatever happened through this class, allow it to leave the mind. Work on energetically activating your right knee towards the earth, tucking your tailbone down and forward. Allow this length to creep into the right quad. Maybe you even feel it in the right hip flexor. And take just 3 more breaths here. One more expansive breath in. And a really long breath out. Slowly using the elbows, the forearms, lift the body up. As gently as you can, swap over sides. Elongating the right leg, sending left heel to the outer edge of your left hip. Bring in a block, a pillow, a bolster, whatever you need underneath this right sitting bone. And then once you feel as if you are ready, find that depth that suits and serves your body. And when we come into this practice, our intention should be to serve the body, so the body can serve us. So there is no reason we should be pushing the body past any of its limitations. Yoga gives us an opportunity not only to learn about them, but to change them too. And be patient with that process. And just 3 more breaths on this side. Last exhale, yogis. Slowly lift yourself up, treating the body with love and care. And then from here, bring left heel towards the center of your body. Elongate your right leg. Start to square your chest off towards your right leg. And as you breathe in, lift up. As you breathe out, find Janu Shirshasana. Here, I'd love for you guys to think about energetically activating your chest towards your toes instead of your head towards your knee. We want to make sure we're sending the sitting bones back, the chest forward. By keeping the spine nice and straight, we have a better opportunity at lengthening through our hamstrings. But with all of that being said, are you pushing your limitations? Are you moving in a way that is not honoring them, but ignoring them? So for these next 2 breaths, listen to the body. I know it's speaking to you. With ease, begin to lift up and swap over sides. Just ensuring that the chest is first squared off to the leg. Energetically, crown of your head lifts. Offer the chest towards the toes. And keep the breath moving in and out of the body. As best as you can, allow the mind to stay centered around it. Once again, my experience is left side is much tighter than my right. Even in our bodies, we do yoga so much, we find these differences from one side to the other. And again, that's okay. You're not alone in any of those little quirks that you carry. And just 2 more breaths. Begin to rise up, slow and steady. Coming into Sukhasana, bringing the front of your left shin parallel to the edge of your mat. And then from there, bring your right ankle in front of your right knee, or place it on top if you've got the range. Now, if you don't, do not stress, just leave it out in front. But I'd love for you guys to make sure that there's almost a ruler's distance between your belly and the back of your calf. Make sure it is a box-like shape, not cross-legged. You may have heard me say it before in my classes. These outer hip stretches, I don't enjoy folding forward into them. And personally, I feel compression through my hips. So I know that shining my heart space forward, lifting up through the crown of my head is what's best for my body. The ego encourages me to fold forward to show my range. But it's not the ego I'm hurting if I push my limitations, not if I don't let it. So again, you just find what works best for your body. Let the ego become quiet. We'll spend 2 more luscious and long breaths here. Begin to rise up. Once again, treat the body with care as you transition to the other side. Please honor the fact they're going to be different. Again, you're not alone. Find that position, that spot, where that sensation lingers, but it's not overwhelming. I mean, each and every one of us chooses how caught up in that sensation we become. It's all a choice. But if there's any advice I can give you, don't listen to the ego, listen to the body. Slowly begin to rise. Once you feel as if you are ready, lay down on your back. We're going to land together in Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together, knees out wide. If you can, lift your arms up overhead, clasping either elbow. Allow those outer edges of your knees to drop really heavy. Allow the breath to freely move in and out of your stomach. As we land in this pose, we begin immediately to start to prepare for Shavasana. So as you land, allow your eyes to become soft. Unclench your jaw. Shoulders, hips, outer knees, heavy. And from this moment forward, know our last and final pose is available to you. Once you feel as if you are ready, straighten your legs. Allow your arms to come down by your side, or maybe they gently fall on top of your belly. And it is here we feel our muscles soften around our bones. We offer up control. We allow ourselves to open up to the experience that is before us, because you are alive and this is an experience. Begin to bring life back into your body. Little movements anywhere that feels right. Roll off to your favorite side, push yourself up to a seat. Once you land, hands fall into Anjali Mudra. Please bow your head to your hands. Together we acknowledge the practice, we acknowledge each other, and we acknowledge ourselves. Namaste. Guys, I'd love to hear how you went with this class. Sending all of the light and love to each and every one of you.